Well, let me tell you, let me clue you in. Those are colors for the 55.
All right, guys, here we go. Day is here. Mr. Sam's 55 is finally getting dropped off. Cameron, how was your ride over?
It was not bad. I didn't have to drive, so that's good.
Yeah, that's why I said ride.
Yeah.
Not how was your drive.
You already did.
There it is, fresh out of the dip tank. Josh and Maverick up front.
It's starting to squeak again, see? Whatever it was is...
See a couple initial spots that might need some metal work. Previous metal work that's already been done.
So since this was in the 50s, you gotta do the 50s style, like, brazing and stuff.
Oh yeah, with a coat hanger.
Yeah. Huh? Okay.
And then we'll give that chassis a nice little Rust-Oleum. What is it, rattle can resto?
Yeah, rattle can resto. Huh?
That'll be Maverick's department.
Oh, there's actually some brazing that's been done back here. Right in here. I thought it was Bob but it was brazing. And then it's actually lead, whatever they did back in the day was lead trap.
Yeah. It's actually extremely solid.
It's really, like I said, it's really not bad.
I'm sure you've seen some dip story, dip tank horror story stuff.
I mean, we have an 82 S10 that makes this thing look like a show car.
We have a few of them that make this look good.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got Mr. Sam's car in the shop. Let's do a little more in-depth overview of what we have to start with. We did a little bit of that yesterday with Cameron in the parking lot, but I want you guys to see everything that we're up against. And I'm going to run you through the process of getting this car into epoxy and back to those guys so they can start the major metal work. This car is really straight. I'm really happy with what we have to start with. It's had some trim holes welded shut. It needs a couple little patches, but for a 70-year-old car, you can't ask for much more than this. Mr. Sam really picked out a good one. A little bit in the rockers right here. The door's nice and straight. Cameron's gonna cut the majority of this firewall out and flush it, so we don't have to do anything up here. Same for this side. The door, nice and straight. A little bit of work in the rockers. And this right here is why we love sending cars to the dipper versus having them sandblasted. Every square inch of this thing is stripped. There's no sand pouring out of holes out of the inside of these doors. Get you guys down in there a little bit. Gives us a perfectly clean, nice base to start with. You can see some prior patchwork done in these floors over the years. Cameron's also going to cut the floor out of this car and put a one piece in it, and then they're going to modify the tunnel for the 10-speed. So none of this will be staying. That'll all get cut out. You can see some rust and some patchwork that was done up here. All that's going to get replaced. So this is going to be all perfect sheet metal. There's some of the patchwork that we talked about yesterday. These will get cut out and redone. The fenders are nice. No major damage, no signs of collision. Just an awesome car to start with. So here's our process. Maverick will get it over here on the lift. We're going to get the body off the factory chassis, get it mounted to the rotisserie. Then we'll go through and do some of the light patchwork before we get it into epoxy. The whole car, every square inch, anything that's been touched by chemical, which is everything because it was submerged, is going to get sanded with 80 grit. And it's going to go in the booth and get wiped down with our metal prep and sealed with some PPG DP40. Here's the hood. Another point to talk about with sandblasting versus chemical dipping. You have to be so careful when you're blasting these cars not to get out in these wide open areas and warp these panels. And you'll get what they call the oil can effect, where this, it's going to do some of that from the factory anyways, but the sandblaster will just warp these things and you'll be chasing that for hours. You don't get that with chemical dipping. Go back here and show you a couple of these products. So like I said, the car will get sanded with 80, give us a good mechanical scratch. DP40, DP90, it's just a color difference, but this is the epoxy that the car will get sealed with. And then once it comes back from Cameron, we'll block the whole car out and use this black epoxy as a guide coat to show us where any waves and imperfections are, and we'll do our body work on top of the epoxy. You always want to do your body work on top of an epoxy primer. It gives you a barrier between the bare metal and the filler so that when the car gets out in the sun, it doesn't shrink. It has nowhere to go when it's sandwiched between two layers of epoxy. And this would be the second layer. This is our high build VP2050. That DTM stands for direct to metal. So once you do block through any of this initial epoxy doing your body work, you'll have, some rings of bare metal showing. This primer will grab right onto it and seal it. And then this will be the primer that we use throughout the whole process. So it'll get 3 rounds of this. It'll get body worked, sealed, blocked, then reprimed. And then once it's reprimed, it'll get blocked and primed once more. And then that final round will get wet sanded and go right into color. I did another spray out of the color for you guys. So here's the colors again, side by side. The green and the gunmetal gray. I saw some comments saying that nobody expected these colors to look that good together until you see the rendering, and I think it looks great.
They're great.
The car is going to have a CCW Classic on it, satin gray in the middle, and the beadlock ring will be the green accent color. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Like, share, subscribe, follow along if you want to watch the build on Mr. Sam's car. We're going to get this thing over on the lift. Maverick's wrapping up his vintage air install on the 69 Camaro. And other than that, we'll see you guys on the next one. Gonna find out where I put it. Maverick, where'd I put that spray out? Thought I had one. It's over here.